So I'm going to demonstrate for you the story string process that I would like you to try if you want to. And it comes from the book by Martin Prechtel, The Smell of Rain on Dust, which you've read a few excerpts from. And he describes it as something that you do with a dying person. So if you're sitting with a dying person, a family member, or perhaps a client, if you're a chaplain or a counselor, you would take a piece of string about 3 feet long. This one's a little longer than that. And you might, to make it easier, you would take a piece of paper like this and write something on it, like a blessing or a message of love, or even the person's name. So let's say the person's name is Tom. And you would take this and fold it up. Wrap the string around it. And then start entering all your prayers into this string. It's almost like prayer beads. And you're going to wrap it up around and around, and you're going to add your blessings. You're going to tell your stories of Tom's life, all your fond memories of him, happy memories, maybe even sad memories, messages that you want him to have from you, messages of love, forgiveness, blessings for his journey as he's dying. When my mother was dying, my whole family, my siblings and their children, we all sat around the bed and everybody did one of these for her. So you wrap it up until it's all completely wrapped. And then you put this into the coffin with the person when they die, or into the cremation. And so for the example of my mother, all my siblings were sitting around and we each had one of these, our special prayers and special messages to her, and we just laid them next to her on the bed with flowers and everything around her body. And all of this went into the grave with her. So that was the original idea of this string. You put it in the grave with them so that they can carry their story with them. They can carry all the love that you've put in there, your perception of their life, their story as seen through the eyes of your love. Beautiful stuff. And it all goes with them and escorts them into the afterlife. So what I've done with this is I've modified it a little bit for grief. And you do a similar thing, but instead of for a dying person, you do it to honor your loss. So let's say you're grieving the death of a loved one. You would do the same thing. You would write maybe their name on the piece of paper and any message or blessing you want to give them. And when you're wrapping up the string, you would be putting into it all your sadness. How can I live without you? I feel like you left me too soon. My heart is broken. I don't feel like I'll ever get over this. I feel so alone. Whatever you need to put in there, all the pain. And now what you're going to do, because you don't want your loved one to be holding that for you, is you're going to leave about this much of the string open. And you're going to do a sacred ceremony with this. You're going to go outside and find a tree and tie it into a tree by this little string so that this is hanging from the tree. And what happens over time is that all your grief, all your pain, all the trauma, whatever you've put in here, gets released to the elements. Eventually it just unfurls. And the birds come and take pieces of it to make nests, and the wind and the sun and the rain, and it just disperses into the cosmos. And your prayers, or the trauma and pain that you want to release, or the prayers that you want to send out, whatever you've put in here, are now carried out to the divine. If you don't have a tree, you can do the same thing, but you can bury it in the earth, and it is taken up by the earth. The earth is big and strong enough to hold all that emotion and all that energy, much stronger than our little bodies. So you could bury it in the earth. You could go put it in a river or a lake someplace, tie a little rock to it and throw it in the ocean. The idea is to release whatever energy that you're carrying. So that is the story string process.